You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
All right, people, welcome to the Zod and Drea podcast.
Hello, everybody. Good to be back.
It's always good to be back. We hope you enjoyed last week's show with Martin Perez, where he came in. If you didn't see that, make sure you go to either our Facebook page, our website, at www.zodanddrea.com, or, of course, our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/ZodAndrea, to make sure you see Martin, because he spoke about the prison, the school-to-prison pipeline, and we had a really good show. We got some pretty good feedback on it. So, what's going on with you?
Well, he gave a lot of great information, and I hope everybody follows up on it and gives their feedback. But I've been good.
All right, good.
I've been good this week. It's been a good week.
We had a really good week. We went and got to see our friend Zulema.
Shout out to Zuli.
So, shout out to Zuli, who had invited us over to the Botanical Gardens to go see a show by, what was it, Ratio. I think it was
The band Ratio.
Yeah, Ratio band over here in AZ. And starring Les Paul Roque, I think his name is, as well as the singer Raven Green. And they just sang some of their original music. They sang some oldies and live band. But what was the big surprise, what we really loved, is when we showed up, Zuli had saved us a nice seat right in the front row. But we also had Richard Cruz, Quante Cruz. Who else? We had Roy Tatum and his wife. Like, we had, it was a crew of us. And I didn't even know that the crew was there. So shout out to everybody who was there, as well as the new friends we had made.
I kind of want to call it like the grown and sexy adult night.
It was definitely grown and sexy. Man, they had me bring out my cashmere. I had to bring out the cashmere.
We sang along. Music was great. The atmosphere was great. People were great. So that was a good weekend.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully you guys had a good time. But what we're going to be discussing on the political side for this podcast is why we didn't watch the Super Bowl 52 or the State of the Union. We didn't watch either one of them, and we weren't missing anything.
Don't care.
So what's coming up on entertainment?
Talk about Winchester.
Winchester.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, we had some fun. A movie called Winchester, but we'll talk about a little bit of the history of that, as well as our connection, or almost connection, to the movie.
So close.
Ooh, we were so close. And, of course, our main topic, the 15-minute segment, is going to be, why is The Bachelor still relevant today?
I'm totally confused.
Yeah, so you know The Bachelor. If you haven't seen
What you want?
Anyway, let's get into this right now. So, let's discuss. Let's start off with Winchester first. Let's get right into the entertainment part. Now, if you guys do not have Movie Pass, you are missing out. We are able to see one movie a day for the entire month, for the entire year, whatever. One movie per day for only $10.
How much was that?
$10 a month.
And how many movies?
That's about 30. This month it'll be 28, you know? So we get to see whatever we want. One of the movies that we saw this time around was Winchester, starring Helen Mirren.
Now, it's about the heiress to the Winchester fortune, which, if you guys are historians or NRA fans, Winchester was the first company to make is it semi-automatic or what kind?
It's not semi-automatic. I mean, it's a rifle.
Rifles, there we go. So,
but they also made handguns. I mean, I believe they also made handguns. But back then, the rifle was the big thing, the Winchester rifle, It won
the war, right? Doesn't it? It won it won wars.
Because it was quicker to reload while everybody else was using muskets or whatever. Winchester was like, nah. Just let me show you what I can do. So it took the lives of everybody. Like it's one of those really powerful guns.
Like practically the first weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah, there are cannons and catapults, but it's it was doing its thing on the battlefield. But this movie Winchester was inspired. It was inspired by events. So obviously they went and embellished. It's Hollywood. They did their thing, and Helen Mirren played the Winchester heiress, Sarah Winchester, who
now she married into the family. It was her husband that founded the family, and so she married into it. He died, their child died, And one shout out to my sister Victoria, who's a huge fan of the Winchester family and this story, because she was the one that really introduced me to it. So it all is based on the incidences that have happened in this house that is in existence in San Jose. If anybody's ever visited the Winchester house, it's this house that is very uniquely built, and it has rooms that have like either there's just endless rooms, walkways and stairways that lead to nowhere.
It's constantly under construction. The whole thing about it was that it was constantly under construction, where you may live in a house that has 3 rooms or something like that. This one had over 100
rooms.
And they were still building at the request of Mrs. Winchester, who the reason why is because she said that she felt guilty about all of the people who had died from Winchester guns by the material, by the weapons manufactured by her family, or at least the family she married into, but her family that bared their name, and that the ghosts
spoke to her.
The ghosts spoke to her into building the rooms. And so that's why she made rooms for them.
And so to this day, there are tours of this house. And it's even reported that the Winchester house is one of the most haunted houses in the United States of reported incidents. There's been, and I think I'm doing a little bit of research on them too, like there's been pictures people took of like little like orbs and like faces that they see. So it's pretty crazy. So I'm just surprised they're barely doing a movie about this.
Really, yeah. And so of course they Hollywood up by having a man who is Eric Price, who's, I guess he's a drug addict, but he's a psychologist, and they are trying to, the Winchester company, which she owns 51% of in this movie, is trying to determine her mental health, and they hire this psychologist to go into the house and just study her to see if she's crazy, because she keeps talking about ghosts and all this other stuff, and they're like, look, how is this woman supposed to have 51% of the company? So he goes in there obviously as a skeptic for a psychologist, and when she even comes in, she's dressed in black and a veil, and I mean, she just looks intimidating in herself. But it winds up turning into a ghost story. Very much of a ghost story. So it is a horror movie if you get scared easily.
Like me.
Oh yeah. There was Drea,
how many minutes was it into it that I started screaming?
Drea is really about faces, like faces that pop out of nowhere.
I don't like it.
She just does not like it. And this one had a couple of those moments that were really funny. So she was screaming in it. But it was different. I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was pretty good. Kind of like melted a little bit at the end, but I do like how they incorporated some things. I like the 13 nails.
Right. And she was an inventor, you guys. This woman was smart. She knew her stuff.
Yeah, no, it was good though. I mean, I'd say, you have if you have Movie Pass, you're like, let me go and check it out. I'd say check out Winchester. It's just fun. It's probably
go see it.
3 out of 5 maybe or so.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It was fun. All right, so going on, we're going to talk about the political aspect, which is why we didn't watch the Super Bowl 52 or the State of the Union. Let's start with the Super Bowl.
So, look, this is the first year that I just didn't at all just didn't watch any NFL. I was really upset about how the franchise owners and how our president, well, I'm not even going to say our president, how the president use then the protests as a way for them to have a one-up to make people of color feel wrong for standing up for themselves. And I just refused to watch any NFL this year. I really did. And then when I really got to learn about the business of the NFL and the ownerships of them, I don't think I'm going to be watching any NFL pretty soon.
Like me, I was never really a football fan regardless. That wasn't really my kick. It's like I watch it when I watch it, just like anybody else. I don't have a team. I'm from Jersey, I'm supposed to like...
who are you supposed to like?
The Giants. If you're in North Jersey, you're supposed to like the Giants or the Jets, but really the Giants.
South Jersey?
South Jersey is supposed to like the Eagles. So South Jersey was happy about the Eagles pulling out. Congratulations to the Eagles.
The ones with the pork roll?
Yeah, pork roll. We're Tellingham. But the thing is, we wanted to skip it out because, if football players kneeling all of a sudden distracts you from the entire 2-3 hour game, then you're not paying attention to anything. You're paying attention to the wrong thing. People kneeling should not upset you. People kneeling should not get you upset. And the fact the NFL was very hesitant in and very reluctant, really, in backing the player for the rights. For their right to do so. No, it is not in their contracts. For the right to do so, which was a silent protest and an awareness for you to bring awareness to the police brutality that happens in the black community way too often, 5 times more often to blacks than whites, and only 13% of the population. But for you to be able to say, no, we're not going to do that, and to use it as a prop like Jerry Jones, the Cowboys did, where he was going to bench people, anybody after he did his little stunt, we just weren't down for it. So, and really quick, in order to make a segue, for us to go into the State of the Union. Remember, we banned it ever since that. We said we were going to ban the NFL. Like, we meant it. We meant it. We weren't playing about it. There are people who were playing until the Super Bowl came. Then they had to just give up in their convictions. There's some people who stayed with it. And then Philadelphia was their team, or New England was their team. And respect to them who did. For those who did, because they did make a point. They did make a point, and they stood up for something, and something that you can't take away from that heart. But also, Donald Trump praised the Irani, I think it was the Iraqis, either Iran or Iraq. I'm sorry, I got to check it out. But he praised them for their protests in their government.
Yes, they did.
He praised them for their protest about their government. But yet, when we protested our issue in football, Donald Trump made sure he took a stand against it
and called the players' mothers bitches.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, sons of bitches, but we know what he was talking about. He would respect when other countries do it to theirs, but when we do it to ours, he doesn't have the respect, especially other people of color. So that's one reason why we did not watch the State of the Union. State of the Union was also going to just be filled with somebody who had typed up something for this moron to read off of a teleprompter that he didn't know himself.
And we knew the next day he was going to go on Twitter and pretty much say everything in opposite of what he said.
Pretty much, he'll give the real State of the Union.
We know this.
So we're talking about a guy who sits there and lies, and I forgot the countless lies that they had. There were a whole bunch of lies that were in the State of the Union.
And didn't they even say Fox News even did a count on
Fox
a
News
fact
had
check?
They had a fact check on something. It's like when Fox News has to fact check you, it's like, what are you doing? I mean, but it's the fact that his base won't care, and they will believe what he wants to believe because they are drones and they are sheep, and the MAGA people have absolutely no brain cells left because they don't care about what sensible people have to say.
That's why he feels okay saying that it was the most viewed ever.
Yeah, because they'll believe it, except the fact that it wasn't.
It can be fact-checked in like 2 seconds.
Like, it wasn't, but you will believe it because you wear Trump on your shirt.
And it wasn't even close to even being the top 5.
No, so, you know what? As far as this guy goes, for the next few years,
Please listen carefully.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Zod.
And I'm Drea.
And we want you to check out the Zod and Drea podcast every Tuesday.
Where can everybody find us at?
You can always check us out on www.zodanddrea.com.
Where else?
You can always check us out also on Facebook at Zod and Drea.
Instagram?
Zod and Drea.
Snapchat?
Zod and Drea.
YouTube?
Zod and Drea.
I see a pattern.
So if you haven't caught that, catch us at Zod and Drea on all the social networks. But also, make sure you subscribe to the Zod and Drea podcast. Where?
At zodanddrea.com.
And also on YouTube and iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We're coming for you.
Let us know what you think. And if you want to be a guest, reach out to us.
And put all of your input into whatever our topics are for the week. So we hope to check you out and see you there.
Bye.
All right, we're back. Real quick addendum. Real quick addendum to what we said. Winchester was special to us because if you ever look on the Zod and Drea podcast YouTube page, you'll see us travel to San Jose. We did a road trip to San Jose, and we didn't realize how close we were to the Winchester house until I think you had looked it up, or Katie must have said something. Somebody said something.
Yeah, we looked it up because we were trying to go to another.
But we couldn't go. So you have to make sure you get your tickets in advance. But we were that close to it, so we want to make sure we make another trip up there. And now that we saw the movie, we definitely want to do it.
Ooh, if I see a ghost, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Boom. Okay, let's get into this. Why is The Bachelor still relevant today?
I have no idea. You guys got to help me with this. Okay, so I think it was the first episode from the first season, right? That's how long ago it was that I saw The Bachelor. And even then, I thought it was dumb. This is why I thought it was dumb. I do not understand why women will be and parade themselves on actually on a global stage to get the attention for one guy. I get it. When you date, you are doing something similar like that, right? But this is on a reality show where you are picked apart and you are competing against every woman for everyone to see. And he is dating all the women at the same time and gets to choose who he wants. So he can reject you, he can judge you, he can say all these, things about you, or maybe, I remember one time the one guy was thinking that, when they do the interview, the private, like, after the show, what your thoughts are, and I remember guys like, oh, that girl's breath smelled, or I don't like her hair color. Like, screw you. Who are you? So all these women then that break their necks to get his attention, I didn't get that.
My thing was, okay, if you want to parade yourself around in a meat factory, then that's cool. It didn't make any sense, especially, fighting over people. I mean, there was a whole bunch of nonsense, but it was par for the course for a lot of things that were going on back then when this thing first came on. Now, remember, the show is 22 years old, something like that. They're like the 23rd season, something like that. All right, the 22 seasons. 223 shows at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And,
God,
we had, like, Joe Millionaire. You remember that back then?
Oh, and remember Rock of Love.
And Rock of yeah, that was later.
That guy was so stupid.
Yeah, watch out, Kristen loves that dude.
I can't stand him.
And at least he was a nice guy. Who was that, Brett Michaels or whatever?
Right.
Brett whatever. He seemed like a nice guy. But, this type of stuff was like the same douchebag every single time. I mean, they even had Flavor of Love. Like, there are a bunch of things. Flavor Flav, but it was all a lot of it was off of the back of The Bachelor.
Mm-hmm. Of the same concept.
The same concept. And it never made sense to me why women would want to, do this. But then you got The Bachelorette where, oh my God, look at this. Guys want to do it too. And they want to be idiots and stand up there and be, meat market, and these women are sitting there kissing the same guy. This, in Bachelor, guys kissing like all these chicks and getting herpes and, kissing. And I'm like, what is this? Like, this is stupid. I mean, it's good for him. And then at the end of it, you propose? Like, are you serious? Like, you want to get married? This is stupid. This is dumb. I've seen people who take a lot. Hell, we've been dating for 2 years, and
Mm-hmm.
Still getting to know a lot about each other. But you're trying to tell me on a TV set where you're sitting there waiting through like 20 other people that this is the guy you want to marry?
When you're spending most of the time fighting with either your roommate or the other people you're competing with, you're really not even spending time with that guy. You're spending
Or
most
that
time,
woman,
yeah, or that woman, right? You're spending more time with the drama.
And that's what it is. It's like, the show doesn't care. ABC doesn't care. They just want to do it. But we're like, why is this relevant? Like, I mean, at what point, since The Bachelor, we have gotten Facebook, we've gotten
Tinder.
you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Match, we've had Christian Mingle, we got the Jewish
What's the
one.
over 50?
The Jewish one. Yeah, the over 50. We have a whole bunch of different ways where you can date because it's digital now. I remember back in like the 80s, for all you young kids and all you whippersnappers. But you remember the VHS tapes that people would get? There were dating services where you would go into a room and you can record who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody can go into that room and then choose a whole bunch, like, okay, this is a black guy with this man, I can pick this videotape and then I can play it and see who's interested, and then I can link up with that. But that's how it was. That was early swiping, and right.
Wasn't that a TV show too? The Love Connection?
No, that was Love Connection is completely different. But Love Connection is probably precursor to The Bachelor.
Yeah.
I mean, really. And then there's some shows even before that. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Love Connection. You remember they would stand behind the curtain or behind the wall, and
They would have the guy's video or the girl's video.
sort of.
Mhm.
Sort of. Yes. And then they'd be behind the wall. Yeah, same
Yeah.
concept. Okay, so that was like in between The Bachelor and whatever the videotape stuff. But yeah, so. You have these people doing this, and you know what I just thought of this real quick.
What?
You almost could think, because the popularity of The Bachelor is so ridiculous that it trends on Twitter right now, right? So it winds up after each episode, the trends on Twitter where people just in awe about the drama that goes on, and oh my God, I'm gasping. You got to wonder what their lives are like.
Yeah.
You got to wonder, I mean, these are probably people who are married, who are in relationships.
Or think about it. It's been on so long that has this show made an impact to dating, to modern dating now?
Have no idea.
You know what I mean? It has to have impacted at least or affected, say, girls that were, let's say teenagers or even younger watching the show then.
Maybe, and then becoming contestants.
Yeah, either becoming contestants or learning about these are the skills, these are the things I need to do to get this guy's attention. These are the things that I need to either say, act as, or look like. Didn't we just see the current list?
So here's what happened. Apparently, I guess last season there were like 7 blonde women. Out of 29 women this season, there are 13 who are blonde. They all look alike. And you know what's so wild about this is the fact that the one in The Bachelor that looks so different from everybody else after 22 seasons, 223 or so episodes that have been on here, the one that looks absolutely just different, like, oh my God.
Why she looks so different?
Is a woman with a pixie cut.
Not like purple hair or
No,
like piercings.
She literally just has short hair. That's it. All of these women have been looking the same for 22. What is 22 times? Man. Times like 29, times like 30. And only one has been on this show with the pixie cut, which shows you that ABC has a formula.
Right.
They have a formula that you have to look like these white women that look pretty much damn near all the same. Whether you have long hair, you all have to have long hair.
They all are tall,
weave,
thin, long blonde hair.
Blonde hair and all folksy, and they're all named like Rebecca. And what's funny is the girl we're talking about is called like Becca. But she's short hair, cropsy. Her last name is Martinez. And she's really popular. Her whole story sounds crazy. But even the last season, the person who lost was a black woman who now is the first Bachelorette who is black. 22, what were you doing 22 years? This is what I'm talking about, at least 22 seasons. Like when it takes that long for you to have a black person, this is what shows you what America is about.
But you also got to look at who's the audience. Obviously, they're watching this.
Oh, they're watching this.
And they're watching this, and they are accepting this cookie cutter ensemble of girls every year.
No, they do, but a lot of them sit there and they hope that it switches. You know, back in 2013, Juan Pablo Galaviz was the first Latino bachelor. And he barely looked.
I'm like, that's no Juan Pablo.
That dude's name is John Paul. But okay, if you want to call him Juan Pablo, cool. Look at this. They got an article called "Is ABC's The Bachelor Juan Pablo Galaviz Latino enough?" Like he's barely scraping by. Like, oh my God.
Hey, that Castilian is coming through loud and clear. Gotcha. Do whatever you got to do.
Brother.
Claim it,
brother. See, and the thing is, whether he's white Latino,
but
like
again, like you said,
no, like this guy or the black bachelorette that they chose, what are they going to choose? Again, they're going to choose white because that's what's thrown at them. That's probably what they've grown up as. I mean, I saw the black bachelorette. Her name is I don't know, Megan or something. I don't know who the hell she is. But she is this black woman who is Rachel Lindsay. Now, I'm telling you, a black woman named Rachel Lindsay. I don't want to stereotype. It's not like it's, Quenisha, but I have grown up with women who look just like that. I have an eyeball for stuff like this, and I hate to stereotype, but sometimes I got to. But I know when you only like white guys. I know the look. The look is it, but once you open your mouth, it confirms it. There was one time when somebody was trying to make up, and this is really funny. Someone was trying to make like a little a blind date TV show, reality show, and someone asked me. My man Barf Brooks was like, "Yo, I know a dude who wants to do it." And he said, "You want to be on it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll just do it, the pilot, whatever." So I met him over at the pier, one of the piers. I think it was Pier 51, something like that. It was down in the bottom of Manhattan, and I forgot where we went, but we were chilling, and I met the girls, and they were recording us. Like, it was just people recording us on our date. And she was a black woman, tall, had long hair, thin, da-da-da. From the door, I knew what I was dealing with. So we went through the whole date, whatever. We talked. It did not connect. I wasn't interested in her at all. She wasn't interested in me. And before we left, I said, can I ask you a question? She said, yeah. I said, do you usually date white men? She's like, yeah. I was like, what the? I'm like,
But was she looking to try to date no longer black men? Like, I mean, no longer white men? I'm sorry. Like, was she trying to look at maybe?
No, she usually dates white guys. Like, that's her type. That was her type. I said, okay, I figured. No, it wasn't that she was trying to step out of her shell.
Comfort zone or something.
I think it was a TV show opportunity, and she wanted to jump at that. And it was a blind date. Remember, she didn't know what she was being hooked up with. So, no offense to Rachel Lindsay, but we already knew that at the end, you were going to choose a white guy. There were, I think, 2 black guys fighting for attention and 1 white guy. Of course, she's going to choose that. Whether it was at the behest of the ABC execs or herself, we already knew what was going to happen. They want to keep it white. And after all this time, they still haven't had a brother man, but yet black people still jump on The Bachelor trying to be selected by these white people. And it's like, these white people have grown up white their whole lives. They have white friends, they have white family members, they have a whole bunch of white circles where the odds of them being like, okay, I'm going to go against daddy's wishes, and I'm going to date this black guy on national TV and mess up the family name, make America great again, is going to be very rare.
Or this Latino, which he looked pretty safe.
No, he was safe. Like, I mean, if anything, he's one of those guys that looks safe, and it's like, oh, he's exotic because of his name. Mm-hmm. He looks like the average white dude that's in a frat, but, you know, you add in his name, and, oh, he's exotic. He's Juan Pablo.
So I didn't do enough research, and this is my bad for not knowing with the other shows that are out there. Are there any dating shows, then, that are, that the participants are people of color?
I mean, that's just it. Like, what did we have? We had Flavor Flav. You know what I'm saying? We that's what we had. Otherwise, they had stupid stuff with what was that? Tequila. And she was like,
she had a show.
Yeah, she did on MTV. She was dating men and women. They're always, I got to give it to them. They're always really creative with their titles. I forgot the name of her stupid show, but it was Tequila. Her name is Tila Nguyen.
I don't know if like Telemundo, Univision, or any of the South Asian television shows or even BET, if they have specific dating reality shows for people of color, that all participants are people of color. And if so, is it getting enough ratings? Could it compete with like a Bachelor?
I don't know. I don't think there are a lot of them that would be competing with The Bachelor. The Bachelor's been going on for so long, and there are people that still are looking at it. So, you know, if that's their thing, cool. You know, that's them. You know, have fun with it. But to me, I still haven't found a reason why I should look at it, or why anybody of color really should. It's like, just leave it up to the white people, because that's what it is. It's a show for white people, which is fine. Like, you know, you have your own show. You had Frasier, you had, you know, Seinfeld, you had, you know, Friends. You know, what's the difference? The Bachelor came up around that same time too. So, you know, go ahead and have your white nationalist show, but for black people to jump on there and think they have a shot for whatever frigging reason is stupid, and to make yourselves look like fools, they're not going to choose you. They're not going to choose you, and that goes for Asians. You know, Asian woman maybe, but Asians, they don't even select them up on there. Same with Latinos, like, and I'm talking dark Latino. Like, let me see a real Juan Pablo, like the dude who like is at Home Depot. I want to see that dude on there, you know? And like
that'd
Muslims,
be cool.
Yeah, you know, Muslims, you're not going to be picked either. So it's a very sterile show, and I have absolutely no interest as to why anybody's watching it. I have no interest in myself.
And it plays into a lie about the prince will save you. Oh, he chose me and I'll be living happily ever after. They only show that only 2 marriages actually resulted in this show.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our show. We want to make sure that you guys check out the videos that we do have on YouTube. We've been uploading some of them on Facebook as well. So all the newer ones that we have on Facebook. And if you are a DACA student or a dreamer,
or DACA recipient,
or a dreamer, then please contact us, because we want to have a show where you tell your story.
We want to put your face out there to Arizona, so they know who are these DACA recipients? Who are these dreamers?
Yeah. So we're going to do that. But also check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and all the social networks at Zod and Drea. Make sure you check us out even on WhatsApp.
And go see Winchester. Tell us what you think.
Yeah. And get that movie pass. Shit.
And look, just don't be on The Bachelor, okay? Just nobody try to apply for that.
Don't be on The Bachelor because we will have you on the show and just completely grill us know why you put yourself out there like that.
If you really love the show, then let us know. We'd love to hear your feedback.
Peace.